Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I just finished this amazing training on a new way to scale Facebook ads in 2024, leveraging Advertorials. This is from one of my private group calls with my private mentoring students. So if you want to learn more information about that program, click the link below. With that being said, let's dive into the call. Cool. Glad everyone could join us today. Today, we're going to be talking about something that, I've been kind of talking about, I would say, in a group chat now since January. We started to actually dive into this particular topic. I know there's been a few members as well that's also had success with this particular thing, and that is Advertorials. So Advertorials is something that I've never personally ran up until January, and we've seen some pretty cool results with it since we started to roll with them. And today I'm gonna kind of go a little bit more into like the particular SP I put together for you guys, so where y'all can actually start rolling these through into y'all accounts, kind of quickly be able to create them, populate them, and shoot them off and things like that. Now, just to kind of give you a little more context of what makes Advertorials great. I don't know if you guys have been around like in the drop shipping space around 2017, 2016. There was a lot of people at this time kind of preaching, running like traffic campaigns to like blog posts. People would read the blog and you'd retarget them with like your product or things like that. That's literally what basically an advertorial is. At the time, I just didn't know what I didn't know. I just looked at it as blogs and that was it. As I've advanced as a marketer over the last couple of years, I went from just saying, here's my product, here's 20% off, to now these more complex marketing fundamentals that all of you guys have been able to learn between opening up sophisticated marketplaces, unaware marketplaces, problem-aware marketplaces. And one of the problems with that is, while you've been able to make better ads, the downside is your ads have also become longer and more boring. And what will happen here is you construct an ad perfectly, like what I would say around the fundamentals, but then now it's like the ad doesn't have as much reach. You don't find as many winners, and you kind of get still stuck a little bit with scaling. And I noticed this with one particular client back in November. This client came on board with us, and they went from 1K a day to 10K a day. Literally, the only thing they changed was going from long educational videos to extremely short 10-second, maybe just image ads that were sending people to an advertorial that was a mile long, but the advertorial did all the education, all the selling. The image ad was just getting the click. That was it. And basically what we do from here is we take awareness levels, sophistication levels, and stuff like that, and we're taking our sales process for someone, and instead of just putting that all in one ad and then have a landing page like this, we're doing ad like this, calling out maybe one or two things, and then we're doing that whole sales process on an advertorial, a dedicated landing page, versus just pushing traffic to like an ad that's 20 minutes long, for example. So that's where we got started with advertorials. I'm gonna show you all some examples today. Before I show you some examples, I kind of want to go over a couple of use cases. So I'm gonna ask you guys a question really quick. Homeowners, I don't know if there's too many homeowners in here. I think a lot of you guys, I think some of y'all like things like that. Olivia, you're a homeowner? See you raising your hand. So regardless if you're a homeowner or if you are renting an apartment or stuff like that, I want you to drop a yes or a no right now if you know you need to replace your insulation in your house. Do you need to replace your insulation in your house or your apartment? Put a yes or a no. Okay, so my next question for you guys is, how many of y'all struggle with high energy bills during the summer or winter? Put a yes or a no. Yeah, you get like a really high power bill. Okay, cool. Decent amount of yeses, right? All right, cool. So a byproduct of replacing insulation is lowering your energy bill. That's one of the byproducts of it. Working with a particular client right now, we're going after the same scenario. We're opening up an unaware market. What is an unaware market? People who are completely oblivious to the fact they need to replace their insulation right there in their house. It's a very tough sell because I'm trying to convince someone they need to replace something in their house they never see, they're completely unaware to, and it's just not a problem in their mind. So for us, we have to go after an unaware market. Again, unaware market, you can't mention the product. You cannot mention the headline, like you can't mention the desire or anything like that. You're just simply going after a symptom across the marketplace or a big win. We're going after symptoms right now, which is high energy bills. That's our symptom right there. It's not a problem. The problem is actually the fact that heat is escaping or AC is escaping out of your attic. That's the problem. But the symptom is high energy bills. And we're actually targeting specifically Phoenix. So I know, Jen, I know you're in Phoenix, so it'll actually be interesting to get some of your feedback as well. So what we had to do was, for this particular client, was we had to disguise the ads that didn't tell people what we're about to sell them on too soon. So that way we can actually take them through the proper like diagnosis, the process, and all those good things right there. So I'll show you a couple of the ads that we created and like the advertorial and how we set that up. And then we'll kind of go over this particular SOP for you guys. So here's one thing we created, which was Arizona residents permanently lowering their electric bill amongst the summer price surge. I don't know if you guys ever been to Arizona or not, but it gets extremely hot between June, July, and August, and get as hot up as like 120 degrees in there. And they literally have like time periods where like between like 3 and 6 p.m. I want to say it is, where like the rates of electricity is almost 7 times the normal rate throughout the day. Just to like give you guys preferences on that. So there's like, I was talking to one of my buddies, he has a 2,500 foot house in Phoenix, and he said last June he had a $900 electric bill, which is insane for 1 month. So just to kind of give you guys like some context of Phoenix specifically, so I can better understand this. So that's why we're going after the idea of lowering the electric bill, and we're also offering a couple different ways here. Also too, you'll notice I am not showcasing the client's profile. I just went create a random Facebook profile, called it the Arizona Insider. I wouldn't say it's the best name, but something. And I try to disguise it a little bit, because if this particular business kind of had like the name of what they do as the name of the business, so I didn't want people to see that too early. I kind of want to ease people into this process, the sales process. And we sent people, I'll show you all the opt-in real quick. So we sent people to this page right here. Let me do it on mobile, because so this is how people are seeing it on their side right here. This is a page. I think this page took me about 20 minutes to create yesterday, and then like another 20-30 minutes of the copywriting aspect. I kept it pretty simple, right? Three ways Arizona residents are permanently lowering their electric bill amongst the summer price surge. So I'm just simply going after something that people know are coming. And I'm also going after something they want, which is to lower their electric bill. This is a symptom that they know is coming up. They're like, what the fuck? I don't want to deal with that. And then from here, like this looks just like a typical article you would read. You know, there's nothing like super salesy about it until you actually get to about the third option. So I call out one option. You know, you can like raise your thermostat to like 78 degrees. I don't know about you guys, but like I keep my thermostat in my house all day at 70 degrees. Like if it gets up to like 72, I'm sweating while working. I cannot stand it. So 70 degrees is where I stay at. So like 78 in the house just sounds miserable all day. The other option you have is like installing solar panels, but you know, it can be up to like $15,000 to $20,000 for like a lower end house just to get a solar panel system installed. And that might take you 2, 3, 4 years before it pays itself back off in that sense. And then the last one was actually upgrading your attic insulation. And this was like that perfect in between. It only costs about $1,000 to do, $2,000 at most, depending on the size of your house. And I've seen people save on average about $900 a year on their electric bill. Average electric bill is like $250 for that region, and then we got it down to about $150. So anywhere between like $900 to $1,200 a year by just simply upgrading the attic insulation in their house. Now, you'll see that I kind of take people through that logical loop here, calling out 2 different ways. And then I'm also calling out another way. Here's why it's better. And then that's when I'm starting to introduce the clients and what they particularly sell right here. So, and then I take people to where they can get their free quote. And, you know, this is actually the sales page the client provided right here. So I didn't personally provide this, but I did the advertorial right here. And this has been really good for us cutting down our cost per click. I know cost per click does not matter, but we were getting like a $4 to $5 cost per click in targeting just Phoenix, saying, hey, time to upgrade your attic insulation. But guess what? As you guys saw, like almost everyone said, no, I don't need to upgrade my attic insulation. But when I went after a larger piece of the pie, did y'all at least hear the most part of what I explained here about what's going on with this advertorial? No?
Is this made on ClickFunnels, by the way?
Yeah, yeah. Let me give you the template.
And did you buy this domain?
Yeah, yeah.
So you bought the whole thing and then built it all on ClickFunnels?
Yeah, I bought the
So
domain. I created the Facebook page myself for the client. So we own the page, we own the domain, and we own the yeah, pretty much everything we made for the client.
and it's front facing too, right? So like if you went to like the ArizonaInsider.com, it would have other articles on it too.
Yeah. If you go to like the ArizonaInsider.com, it just like sends you to like the first page of that funnel.
Gotcha. Okay.
If I really wanted to spend the time and like the long term, what I could do is I could build out a couple different blog sites in each individual industry. And then what I could do is I could, keep posting content on those and make them look really legit. I got a guy, his name is Stephen Black. Been knowing him in the industry for a couple of years now, and that's what he does. He just built out all these content sites, and then people just pay him for posts like on his website. I'm not trying to run
Gotcha.
an agency though, or a content site like that though.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. That's all I
Nick, why ClickFunnels instead of like Replo or other ones?
have.
Because if I was going to use like Replo, for example, I have to
Yeah.
go into each individual client Shopify and set that up. ClickFunnels, I already had it. I already had a ClickFunnels subscription. So I already have it. I use that for a few different my products. Two, it's separate from Shopify. So that way I don't have to like I can host all the pages. A client leaves me, cool. I still have all the pages for myself.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And that's gonna be different for everyone as well. Like y'all see in the SOP, it's like if you own your own Shopify and you only do your own Shopify stuff, you can do it in Replo. Like it's no problem at all. Or Pagefly. Pagefly is what Grant uses, who's the new CRO guy that I've been working with. But if you're an agency and you want to host all these yourself, then that's when you can use like ClickFunnels. There's other landing page software. It's a very basic thing in a sense of what you're doing here. It's not something that's like you have to build an extravagant funnel or anything like that.
Got it.
All right, cool. So take y'all through the SOP. I'll send y'all this to it as well. I kind of went through as thorough as possible of what we've been doing. And then we can kind of dive into some questions and things like that for Advertorials. But as mentioned, Advertorials, the biggest thing for Advertorials is camouflage. They look like news articles that people are already seeing on their news feed, right? Like if you go, let me pull up Facebook real quick. If you go up to like, Fox News, CNN, ABC, wherever you particularly like to look at, all of these news publishing pages, they all technically look like what I would say like advertorials in a sense. And that's where a lot of people got the ideas from. And let me show you guys really quick. Share screen. Yeah, so if you go to like any of these news websites and stuff, you'll see that's pretty much what they're doing all day. They're posting what I would say like photos that make you want to click, grab your attention, headlines that make you want to click, and they're sending people and traffic to these landing pages here. Now, again, for them, they're sending it to just a regular blog post. We're just simply hijacking that camouflage of, hey, we're going to make it look exactly the same, but we're also going to put a level of emphasis on like the product we also want to push as well. And then if you also go to like, for example, Yahoo News. Yahoo News is a good one that I was looking at. Let's see. Or no, was it Yahoo? Let me see really quick for y'all. Yeah, go like Yahoo News and just do like today's news, for example. This is a really good spot for like inspo for advertorials in terms of two things. Number one, the hook of what people are using to hook people in, the image ad itself, and even like that sub headline right there as well. I know I saw a good one the other day, a screenshot and sent you guys in the group chat. But there was a good one the other day I saw that was like pushing a product. And one of the key things that you'll notice with all of these is how they all make you curious to want to click, right? Let's see, some type of rare creature, 3 foot long and scaly, found on tree and Tibeted. See it, so like it makes you want to click. These aren't that great. The other day I had some good ones that are more product focused, but you can use whatever news sites you personally like. But these are like some really great places to get what I would say like inspo for how to structure the headline, how to structure the article itself, and you're just simply kind of copying that same theme with your advertorial itself. All right, let me close some of this shit. All right. Next thing, as mentioned in the beginning of the call, Big reason also too why we love advertorials is that if you're taking someone through the stages of market awareness, whatever stage you start with, you can also do this for solution aware. It doesn't have to be problem aware or unaware, but whatever stage you start with, a big problem that we have right now in our ads is that we're trying to take people through like 5 stages of market awareness in one ad itself. Now, nothing wrong with that. But there will be some industries where like we're doing that and we're still struggling. It's like, hey, we're trying to take people through these stages. We're trying it with video ads. It's not really working. What's that next stage we can look at? And then that's where we can look at like advertorials, even like listicles as well. The same process apply for listicles. And you're just taking, instead of spending all your time on the ad, then sending people to a landing page, you're just maybe opening up the unaware market. And then you're sending people to a landing page where you take people through the rest of those stages. Now, the difference here between an ad and a landing page is that the ad, they can scroll up or down and they immediately get some new dopamine. Whereas when you send people to an article, they have the, I forgot what type of bias is, where it's like you want to complete that particular article because you started it. And then also too, they're walled off. They can't go anywhere else. They're on that page. They either have to click out of it or they read it. If they start to read it, well, guess what? They're going to want to complete it. So that's the biggest thing that I've noticed as well when it's driving people to like an advertorial right there. And then in this SOP, I give you guys a couple different examples right here. One I created, the article one with like Joe Rogan and stuff. Also a Blissy one right here. Perfect gift. Also have some other ones I've just saved on file. I just didn't want to show all of them just out of respect for the clients. But if y'all have any specific types y'all looking for, some of you guys are supplement brands. If you have anyone that you're looking for something specific, just reach out to me. I might be able to have one that the client chooses and I can send over to you. But yeah, favorite sports this
I'm not sure how much I'm.
Go ahead, Connor.
Sorry. I was gonna say I'm not sure how much it matters, but for like CTA on the Facebook, are you putting learn more for all of them?
Yeah, I'm pretty much just doing learn more. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Nick, would this work for real estate brokers?
Would it work for real estate brokers?
Yeah.
Kind of depends. What are we trying to get with these real estate brokers? Are we trying to track them as leads, or we're trying to get leads for real estate?
Yeah, leads.
You could do something like maybe like the top 5 like must-see houses, for example, in a particular area. Or are we trying to showcase houses that are for sale and get people that come in that are like looking to buy that house? Or are we trying to get like finance?
Yeah, I guess to get like buyer leads or seller leads in a certain area.
I wouldn't really classify that. What you could do is you could do something like, like top 5 houses for sale in, for a certain price point in a particular location. You could try that, where like you showcase 2 or 3 houses on a page. And then you can put something in there where it's like, want to see more? Here's a list of 50. Just enter your email below, or like click the link below, and then it takes them to like an option. That's something you could do right there for that.
Also, is there like an ads library for advertorials?
No, I haven't found one yet. We're putting them together as we see them. But I mean, there's nothing different with advertorial creatives than your regular creatives. You're still applying all the same fundamentals in that aspect right there. So cool. And I give you guys a couple examples, 2 key examples right here related to what I've sent you guys above. All right, cool. Again, favorite sources of inspo. These, different like news articles. Those are my favorite right there. And then I specifically want to look at the headlines they're using and the images they're using to get people to click. That's my favorite things. As far as like writing the advertorial itself, let's make this bigger for you guys. All right. As far as like writing the advertorial, there's nothing really different than what you guys already know. Like you guys already know how to look at a desire across the market, look at awareness across the market, look at sophistication across the market. You're taking that same thing. All you're doing is just giving you guys more space, to where you can actually talk a little bit more about the product or the story. That's all you're doing here with the advertorial. Starting to write your first advertorial, the first thing we'll do is write hooks. Typically you'll do like your ad creatives first, and then you'll send them to a landing page. For advertorials, what I'm finding is we're writing the hook for the advertorial, we're writing the advertorial, and then we're creating the creatives that will go to that advertorial, like the ad side. So write our hooks. We'll pick the hook we like. So for example, like me, I had the hook around the, let's see, I think I actually have it in here. Yeah, so like my hook was the 3 ways Arizona residents are permanently lowering their electric bill or price surge. That was my hook. I then went ahead and wrote that advertorial out. I did 3 ways. You don't have to do 3 ways or 3 reasons why or anything like that. It was just a particular route I wanted to go because I know there was a couple different things on the market that people already were doing. So I wanted to kind of apply the sophistication to that a little bit right there. So that's what I did. I wrote my advertorial out. Keep in mind that headline that you put on the advertorial is needs to make me want to read more. If it doesn't make me want to read it, then well, guess what? That you miss the whole thing right there. Let's see. This also gives you your space where you go through almost like a sales letter with an advertorial. Again, you can take your time a little bit more. You don't want to be long-winded. It should still be like, what I would say like entertaining and it makes me want to read it. You don't want to just be long-winded because you can, but gives you a little bit more time to where you can handle like objections, questions, provide a little bit more proof than say like a 30-second ad or like a 10-second ad right there. These are a couple things too. I've also noticed just reviewing a lot of advertorials for people that are in like sophisticated marketplace. Talking about the advertorial, like talking about the story from like a first person point of view. We'll do that about 50% of the time. Whereas like the one I showed you guys today, that wasn't first person point of view. But that whole transitioning statement of like, I tried X, Y, Z, I felt completely hopeless. And then boom, friend told me to try this, which helped her. I pulled that from a few different advertorials. I've noticed that was pretty common right there. And then also to the reason for this article. So after you introduce that solution, that's why I wanted to write this article, So these are pretty much like things you can just copy and paste inside of there. And then an urgency tactic that worked really well for one of our clients was, hey, due to high demand, this product has been frequently sold out recently. A temporary discount promotion is also currently running while stocks last. Therefore, the product will probably no longer be available soon. Now, you don't have to do a discount promotion at all. For example, for our client with the installation, we're basically just calling out the fact that, hey, it's almost summertime and, due to it being almost summertime that like you need to hurry and get your shit done now before we're too booked and we're going to charge you more due to it being like hotter in their attic to install that installation right there. So that's a couple things you can just kind of copy and paste, kind of just tweak a little bit into your particular advertorial. And as far as like the actual ads for the advertorial, we're going short and straight to the point. Nothing crazy. We still want to focus on, our ideal customers, driving curiosity, implied benefit, like all those good things right there. You can do a mix of 50-50 photos and videos. I wouldn't say it's all photos. I wouldn't say it's all videos. And I also give you guys an example of both photo and video right here that kind of highlights that. This is another one we ran that worked pretty well for us for this particular client. Let me pull this up. There we go. Home built before 2010. This could be costing you thousands. This one has a little bit more text on the screen. So if you notice the one I showed you guys today, this was me trying no text on the screen. I'm not really biased to either one. I'm testing both of those out right now. But I do know the text on the screen, we have a little bit more data on it, worked pretty well. And then for video, here's another version of a video where instead of taking someone through a 2-minute long video to explain all these key things, we put it down into, I don't know, I would say like 10 seconds right here. That just gets click. Let's see. There we go. So you're almost built before 2010. You might be missing this key thing. After I fix this, power bill dropped. Read more. Yeah, simple as that. Call to action on this one, I didn't care for. But I'd probably actually include something like learn X thing or learn how you can save $900 a year on your power bill. That's what I'll probably do actually for a better call to action here. Cool. Before I start going into like a couple things that we do, the process of which, is there any questions on like the ad side or like the actual writing of the advertorial that you have questions around?
Would you tie it to like the benefit that they're trying to desire right off the rip, or do you just kind of go for even more click?
So I want to make sure I call out whatever they're experiencing, if it's a symptom or if it's a problem or if it's a desire of like a solution market. Like I want to call out that particular thing because that's how I attract the right audience, right? I still apply the sophistication, right? So like I'm still.
So could like a testimonial work?
Depends on
like
how
a
you
new
work
style?
the testimonial, right? So if it's like a girl talking about how she did this little thing that took her 60 seconds and it boosted her by 800% in a week.
Yeah.
And people are like, what the hell is this thing? I really want to know what this thing is. And then you drive into the advertorial, they find that out. If that
Yeah,
makes
that
sense.
makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So a testimonial can technically work. It just depends on how you do it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone have any other questions around the ad side and the writing of it? As far as building it, as mentioned, we're doing ClickFunnels because we're an agency and we want to host them all ourselves. You can also use Reflow if you're a Shopify store owner and you just want to build it for yourself. Pagefly, also something I've seen my team that I just started working with use. Look, long story short, you're building a page that literally just has a one page. It's a very easy design. So, nothing complex that needs to be here. Now, the actual picking of the domain name, these are all things that I like to take into consideration. We've worked with clients that let me pause my camera. It keeps we worked with a couple clients before that try advertorials and they'll be selling something in the USA that's related to I don't know, back pain, for example. And literally they'll title the page Health News USA or Back Pain USA, some shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I like to try to make these pages sound exactly like themed Instagram profiles, if that makes sense for you guys. So
Are you always doing that?
Yeah, we're always doing that.
Every time you have it on a brand new page, you
No,
don't run
so
anything
it's
off
mostly
really.
Yeah, it's mostly we try to only create one page, maybe 2 pages per client. But we try to create one good page that we can just focus on with that particular client.
And then it's all still in the same campaign?
Yeah, all in the same campaign.
Interesting.
Yeah,
because I'm running some right now, but I don't have the camouflage like you're kind of saying with the new page and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
think
key part right there.
Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I give you guys a little bit of things. So just for inspiration for you guys, if I was going to run a money advertorial, obviously if you could do something like wealth or millionaire mentor, that's something big right there. If I was going to go after a GDM crowd or JDM crowd, if you're into cars and stuff like that, I could do maybe Tuned in Tokyo, for example. That's actually a real clothing brand right there. But just to give you an example of that theme right there. Or, I wouldn't do USA, but for I wouldn't call up a location you're targeting unless you're going after a state. So that's why I did the Arizona Insider, because I want to be specific for that state right there. So that way people are just oh shit, this is for me. Right. That was the big thing for me with that. Also too, GoDaddy. GoDaddy has an AI tool now for here's basically my idea for my website. And you can use GoDaddy to literally come up with ideas for you for domain names. I thought that was pretty cool too when I was going through GoDaddy. You can use Namecheap and stuff like that, but you can use GoDaddy just to come up with the domain name, or ChatGPT or Claude. Again, if you're stuck in that process of trying to come up with a name for it right there. Next thing, again, GoDaddy, Namecheap, whatever you decide to use. And then if you're going to use ClickFunnels, you have to send people you have to go to Cloudflare for DNS. So just keep that in mind for that. Again, you don't have to use ClickFunnels, just, that's what we're using. Facebook page, we're literally just creating the same exact Facebook page as the domain name we choose. The profile photo is also something big I've seen. I've seen clients create advertorials and they create a new Facebook page and they'll literally post Health News USA, and the profile photo for the freaking Facebook page will literally just be a picture of the product. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is not camouflage. So what I'll do is I'll go to shutterstock.com and I'll literally just go type in for example, this is a one we created, Complexion Chronicles, going after girls who were just talking about different blog posts of what they did to fix their complexion. And I literally just typed in CC vector, and basically it got me a 2D image of of different logos with CC, basically Complexion Chronicles, so the 2 C's. And there was a ton of vectors I just pulled from Shutterstock, paid for it, and things like that. You have to go about it. So, but yeah, that's why I created the Facebook page, domain. Any questions around these two before I move forward?
Yeah, Nick, I got a couple questions.
Go for it.
So, a couple here. So, first, you mentioned that a client initially was doing 1K a day and then went to 10K a day using advertorials. And so initially it sounds like they were starting with a regular PDP. So what did you see that made you want to try advertorial? Is it a product that solves the problem? And you're like, hey, let's just try it. Are you seeing others doing it with advertorials, or what led you down that route to test with advertorials with that client?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So first off, that particular client right there, they were the one that created the advertorial for us to use. So that was already in creation when we signed on as a client. we signed them on as a client. So I can't say we came up with that idea, but it's what allowed me to get that, oh shit, you know, we're doing everything correct from the marketing fundamental side. We're just not doing it in a way that's, you know, grabbing the attention correctly and taking people through the right, what I would say, like sales process for them. So that was my first kind of like aha moment of I need to focus on this more. And then, you know, after talking to a lot of affiliate people as well, like there's affiliate marketers doing 7, 8 figures a year. And this is all they're doing all day is creating a fuckload of these advertorials. So after seeing all that, I was like, okay, cool. How do I take my client results to the next level? You know, maybe we're working harder than we need to. How can we work less and make significantly more money for our clients? And that's when we started getting the idea of testing advertorials and rolling them out. And, you know, we've been seeing some decent results with it so far. And obviously, you know, it's still a work in the progress, but you know, there's a few students in the group too that's talked about. I know Aaron, for example, he saw a really big improvement as well as results since he's rolled this out. But yeah, so that's kind of my like trail of like going through this advertorial strategy right there, if that makes sense.
Got it. Yeah, totally. And what tracking or tools do we need? So I'm going to use Replo. And do we need anything else?
Yeah,
Ads manager.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Nick, you might have mentioned it. Are we running this in an entire different campaign?
We'll get to that in a second, Zach.
Got it.
Cool. Yeah, and like I said, I'm gonna send you guys this document so that way if y'all want it, if y'all have ClickFunnels and want to use ClickFunnels, I already have a template for you guys. The template is just literally this one right here, just without the text. Or like, yeah, you can change the template, edit the template, things like that to where you already can have the page built out. Again, you know, no bias to ClickFunnels, it's just what we're using right now. All right, cool. Going a little bit more into, we're going to get to the how we run this and everything in a second. Here's just a couple other things. Once you build out your page, obviously you want to give a URL that's related to the headline. So like you have your backslash. So like if you purchased ArizonaInsider.com, then like, you know, you want your funnel to be like, you know, 3 ways people can lower their electric bill. You put that as the URL. You know, name the funnel on the site. This is just kind of some in-house, you know, I'd say management right here. Hit the fake navigation section. If you're going to use that article I sent you guys, there's on Insider. There's the fake navigation side, which you guys can update yourself. Fake navigation is just this right here. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have noticed that. That's all fake. I can't actually click on that, but it helps out with just making it look more realistic right there. And then headline, your sub-headline, your body copy. Obviously, want to change the brand name and add your images. As far as like how many images to add, it really just kind of depends on the story you're telling. I know I had a client that I literally sent this SOP to, and he just added like 50 images in and it looked terrible. So like we cut a lot of those back. So it just kind of depends. Use images to help tell the story and keep people engaged, but there's not a certain number of images you need. And also comes down to the length as well. Formatting. This one's huge right here. So like obviously like you have your title, you have your subhead, you have like your different like section titles and stuff like that, like right here. But something you'll notice is like I purposely italicized that. I purposely bolded that right here. There's a few things in here that I bolded. Something right here like I underline. I purposely did that to help make it easier for people to skim through the article. While still getting the value from it. As far as how to do that, what I try to basically tell people, it's just, hey, like bold the keywords people need to see. And that's about the best way I can say it. Obviously you'll get better at it the more you do it. Next thing, as you write the article, you want to try to keep people on that hook, on the curious. So anything you can do to hang readers on right there. Bullet points, italics, important quotes. Something else too, I did not do in this article, but one of my first advertorials ever I wrote, that worked well, was linking to other articles. Now, this is a double-edged sword right here, because if I link people to another article, then all that's going to do is distract people, take them away from my page. Now, with that being said, I can also use it to put in like, hey, like here's an article from like this particular scientist, for example, that says, hey, you need to eat this much calories a day if you want to lose weight. I could link people to that article, pull a quote from it, and like do the proper, like, you know, I would say like linking to that article, giving credit and all that, things like that. That can also help me because now I'm giving people data for them to make a future decision down the line. Now, next thing, where it's in traffic. Obviously, it's going to be whatever you're sending traffic at to now. So again, this is just going to be an intermediate page. We're already sending traffic to here. So this is just our intermediate page right here for like the advertorial. Maybe you're already sending traffic to a product page that's working well for you. Maybe you're sending traffic to a home page. Maybe you have a custom built landing page. Just really depends on your current setup right now. That's where you'll send traffic to. Now, a couple questions already gotten about this. I'm literally just launching this as a new DCT and a CBO. There's no reason why you need to go set up a new campaign or anything like that. Just new DCT in your CBO, launch it. That's all we're doing there. To monitor it, since a lot of you guys are Shopify and a lot of you guys are on Triplewell, all you have to do is install the Triplewell pixel manually in here in the code. If you're using Replo, for example, Replo and you're on your Shopify, you don't need to do any of this. Triplewell will already be installed. Your Facebook pixel will be already installed. But if you're using a third party that's completely outside of Shopify, then you're going to need to manually install Triplewell and manually install, Facebook pixel to it right there, which is fairly easy. You just got to go in your heading code. And then the other thing I like to look at is Hotjar. Hotjar allows me to view recordings of people on the website. This can kind of give me an average of, hey, are people not completing the article, or are people completing the article and then just not clicking? It can kind of give me a little bit of data in terms of what do I need to edit on their on the page. Maybe like no one's completing it. Okay, cool. I need either a more interesting story, or I need to cut down the length of that particular article right there. But last thing, expectations. For example, we had a client the other day we tested an advertorial for. It did phenomenal for the first test, but it didn't hit the CPA we need. But it was the first ever advertorial we made for this particular client. And then I was like, cool, well, we're going to make these adjustments and we're going to launch it again. And the client reached out to us and said, hey, why are we launching another advertorial? I was like, well, did you ever stop running creatives when your first batch of creatives failed? I was like, no. I was like, well, that's the same thing with advertorials. Advertorials, you want to test a couple to make sure you have a good test to see if, hey, will this work for me or not? And then a lot of people, what I've seen, especially us too, like my first advertorial, it didn't work. And guess what? I never want to touch them again. So you got to treat it the same way you approach like creative testing. It's like, hey, we're going to commit to maybe 5 or 10 advertorials. If I can get 5 to 10 of them running for my business, then cool, then scratch it. But if you test one, it doesn't work, doesn't mean you need to scratch it. It's, hey, how can we take a new approach to this particular advertorial right here? That's the big thing. And yeah, and just a couple other like questions I've seen, just from you guys, one-on-ones and things like that. Should I split test my best performing ads with my advertorial? Really just depends, right? If you're already running advertorials and it's working really well for you and you just want to simply split test a different ad, maybe just a new way to say that same story, then sure, you can use like convert.com to split test it. But if you wrote a whole new advertorial and you've never ran advertorials in your ad account, it's all sending traffic to like product page or landing page and stuff like that, then those creatives are not built for an advertorial. Those creatives are built for a landing page or a product page. So I don't want to go just take those same creatives and run them again with an advertorial, because likelihood 99% of the time, they just never take off. So I'd rather just focus on all new creatives for that advertorial that we're pushing. What happens if I run an advertorial, it doesn't work? Well, if the DCT is not getting enough spin, I would test different creatives around it. If the DCT is getting a lot of spin, but not hitting my target that I'm looking at, then I'm looking at a couple things. Number one, new image at the top of the advertorial. So how can I make this more attention grabbing that makes people want to read? I could try a longer or shorter version of the advertorial to see. Maybe yours is already like 5 pages long. I could try a shorter version. Maybe yours is like barely a page long. I could try a slightly longer than that, just provides a little bit more proof and a lot more desire around your particular product. Other thing, make it more exciting to read. That's also another one. And then if all else fails, you try these couple things to improve the advertorial and nothing works, then guess what? Just ditch it. It's the whole story itself that you just need to go to try something new on. And then last thing for you guys that have a lot of long videos in your account. I know we have that for one of our clients where we had some long kind of unaware videos. These are like perfect for advertorials. Long problem aware, long unaware videos. You can take that script and just create an advertorial out of that. And then run that advertorial with image ads calling out that hook. I've seen that as like a quick way to, hey, we need an advertorial, we want to test it. How can we get our feet, dip our feet in there? So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for advertorials. This is like kind of like our whole SOP right now. And, you know, I'm curious if you guys try this. I know there's been a few students now that's tried this so far, that's seen some good success with it. I know specifically, what's his face? Aaron posted in the group the other day. He just tried one. And I know there's a couple other students as well that, has done well with, Advertorials specifically. So if y'all have any success with this, let me know. But it's a great way to you know, take a different approach to your account. So, but we'll open up the room now for questions around Advertorials. Maybe you have any questions around how do I apply this to my business? Then cool. Like let's do a thinking time right here to also figure out that for you so we can better like understand that for yourself.
Nick, I got a question for you.
Go ahead, Zach. And then Lucas, you'll go next.
So on your page, I was kind of jumping in and out. On that page that you showed, when you click the button below, where does that take them? Does that take them automatically to cart, a product
No,
page?
where's the product page? Yeah. You just send people where you're already sending traffic at now, right?
Okay.
And then it also will depend like for you, Zach. Like you could go two different ways, Zach. You could say like, you know, you could do an avatar around like the hottest men's summer trends of 2020. And then you could showcase a few different trends. And then you could say you can get all these trends from Xamage.com and you could send people to your best sellers page or your summer collection page. Maybe you decide to do something like Lululemon did and said like, you know, the sports bra that's taking over the internet. And then they would send traffic specifically to that sports bra because they only really kind of talk about that particular product, right? So it's just going to kind of depend on how you basically like write the story and what are you trying to sell? Are you trying to sell your brand as a whole? Or are you trying to sell a collection? Or are you trying to sell a product itself?
Okay. Yeah, I have a few good ideas. So I just wanted to know. So as soon as they scroll down to that bottom, they hit that call to action. I send them to like the trending now page for us. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like this. This is really cool.
You're welcome. Lucas.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. So when you're sending people to like the ClickFunnels pages, are you optimizing for sales still, or are you optimizing for like landing page views?
Everything's still optimized for what I want.
Okay, so still
if
for
I
sales.
want to purchase this, I'm still optimizing for purchases.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And then also a question kind of related to it was like advertising on a page that has basically close to like no followers. Is that more of a hit on your business or does that not really affect advertising at all?
I haven't really seen any effects yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you.
We have next question. Erwin, Connor, then Dixon.
Cool. Okay, so the funnel, so I'll be using Replo. So then it's obviously Facebook ad to the advertorial, which will be in Replo. But then we need another domain, right? Because we don't want to use the same one that's on Shopify.
Yeah, so that's a great question right there. Do you need to purchase a new domain? Do you need another Facebook page? It really just comes down to number one, the story we want to say, and also to the awareness level. Like if I'm going after solution aware, like 3 reasons why you need to drink Core Power, for example, then I'm just going to do that as a listicle, and I'm just going to run that under my domain. But if it's like, you know, going after an unaware market where it's like calling out, you know, the protein that just got banned by the FDA or something like that, then it's like, I'm gonna do kind of more of like unaware. I'm gonna do different Facebook page, different domain and things like that. So it really just kind of comes down to what's the story we're trying to tell.
Okay, so I think a different domain would be ideal for me then. So how would the tracking be? So it'd be a Facebook ad to a different domain unrelated to the store. So how would that tie to Replo? Like how does that process work?
Yeah, so Replo about Replo is at least from my experience, it still uses the same Facebook pixel that's already attached to your Shopify. So you don't have to do anything with the pixel. Now for us, because we're using ClickFunnels, all we have to do is add the pixel to ClickFunnels. And the pixel is literally just passing data back that, hey, they viewed this page. It'll still track that click to the purchase page of them going to another domain. It'll still track everything.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, because that was the biggest belief I had too when I was getting started with this. Cool. Connor, go ahead.
Yeah, that was similar to my question. It's just if I use Replo and I want to use a different domain, how do I connect it to the product page?
Well, if you're gonna use a different
Or the
domain,
listicle, sorry.
wait, say that again.
If I use a completely different domain, how do I connect it to my Shopify?
That's a good question. I personally haven't used Replo myself, but I want to say there's a domain option to choose the domain in it.
Yeah.
There is.
There is.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, there you go. Then you just choose that new domain.
Okay.
You're welcome. And then like your call to action button on that Replo page would just link people to where they can purchase. All right, Dixon.
How would I apply this to my business? That's the main question that I have.
It's a great question. So you're technically selling a product that I don't think you necessarily needed. It's a great question right there. But let's just get creative, right? So one way you could do it is think more about your customer, right? You could do a page that's like the top 3 gun range tools, like the top 3 gun range tools that's a must-have, or the must-have top 3 gun range tools. That's one route. Another really good route, Father's Day is coming up. Top 3 Father's Day gifts for gun-loving dads. You can do something like that right there. You know, that's 2 options right there. But I would just look and see like, okay, maybe like the beginner's guide to like a brand new gun, for example, or like three things every gun enthusiast needs, or a brand new gun enthusiast needs. Because we know for a fact that guy who just purchased a gun, he goes to a range for the first time and he starts loading a mag and he starts feeling his thumb blisters, like, what the fuck is this? And he's never gonna want to go shoot again. So it's like, here's 3 things every like brand new gun enthusiast needs, or something like that, or brand new gun owner needs. Does that make sense? All right.
It makes perfect sense. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I've got a question.
Go ahead.
So I'm just trying to think of the best option, if we should use ClickFunnels or like something like that, because tracking the CTR of the page is going to be important, because I can imagine that's going to tell a lot about if the advertorial is good. Because if people are clicking through to the product page, then we know that the advertorial is obviously doing the job. But do you know if Replo, Pagefly, those sort of options allow that, like to track that metric and test that?
That's a good question. I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. Like, we're still not even really seeing that data ourselves. We're not too focused on that data because it's kind of hard to like make a decision based off of that. So that's why, like, for us, we're looking at it more just from an overall CPA side, and then we're taking the 2 or 3 actions like shorter or longer, or different story, or like a different heading photo. And then like if those things don't work, we just scratch it and move on to the next thing.
Okay, cool. That sort of kind of leads on to the next question. Have you done a test, or are you doing this where you're testing, like split testing 3 headlines or 2 headlines in ClickFunnels to see which one works best? Or
yeah, so right now, what I'll do is I'll just literally go and just edit the headline and let it roll. So like I'll run an advertorial for a week and it's like, all right, cool, what's the change we can make? I'll just go edit it, see how the next few days go. If performance gets worse or better, then I'll just remove it or add it back.
okay, how come, just Alvin, just can you, I'm sure you can do that with headlines.
You can do a split
ClickFunnels,
test.
I think.
You can do a split test in ClickFunnels. It's just difficult to measure because since we're just sending people from that page, it's hard to get the data back of, okay, yes, people are converting, but which test, because it's on a completely different platform. If you actually build a funnel where like people are buying inside of ClickFunnels and stuff, then, you know, you can see that. But now it's like, now to convince the client to go to ClickFunnels, and like, there's just so much other mess. So it's like, how can I do this as easy as possible? And that's the way for me to do it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that answers it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Got a question.
Go ahead.
So if it's a solution aware market and a stage 4 sophistication, would you just do like a product comparison type of like advertorial?
Yeah.
Or still go, okay.
That's a great one. You can do product comparison. To be fair, I probably wouldn't even bother with for. I'm just gonna go straight regular product page, and just push the product itself. You know,
like for example, if it's like dog food or cat food, there's like plenty of brands out there, right? So should we like do an advertorial with and show like all the other brands and some testimonials?
What I would probably do is I would probably showcase, like, you're not wrong at all doing that. Like I think that's great. I would probably run more of like a listicle though, where it's like 5 reasons why you need to try X brand cat litter, or like 5 reasons why X brand cat litter is making other cat litter brands go broke. Something like that.
And is there a listicle example in the doc you shared?
Here, I'll add one for you guys. I know, I want to say maybe it's this Blissy one. I pulled a couple of them. Here, I'll send it to you guys. But yeah, there's one of them. There's an pull it for y'all.
I had contacted this like advertorial guy like a while ago, and he had sent me like a huge list of like examples, but I'm gonna have to like go through my history to find it.
Yeah, I think I know.
I'll share with you guys if I do.
Here, I just added it to the doc for you guys. I'll share it to y'all real quick.
Thanks.
It's I got this one from Blissy. So it's like you could do this with that cat food. Connor, I know you messaged me the other day actually for something similar like this.
Nice page.
Yeah, this is pretty solid. And then there you go. Check availability. You can see right there. They're just sending to them. They have, I think they have actually a landing page. They send traffic. Oh no, they're just sending bestsellers. But I added that for y'all in here.
Thanks.
Cool. Any other questions around this, or even questions of how to apply this to your business?
Yeah, I got another question. I think you answered earlier, but so for the pixel, you're just creating a custom event or just linking the page view event or view content.
Yeah. So I'm just doing page view.
Okay.
To be fair though, it doesn't really matter because there's no events that are firing on that page. If you just put the pixel and you don't put any events, Facebook just puts it as a view. That's it automatically. So that's all I'm putting right there.
Okay. And you don't care about like the button click?
No. And that's kind of where I'm looking at it from just a macro perspective. Is it profitable? Is it hitting CPA?
Yeah,
And then
got it.
what are those key actions we can take to improve that CPA?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Nick, you cut off on that part when you were talking about, well, for me anyways, you talked about initially when you set up the ad for the Arizona Insider, you were getting $5 CPCs and you did something to lower the CPCs. Like what happened there?
All I did was originally when I was pushing this particular product, I was using the client's name. Like I was just using the client's regular Facebook page. And I was just basically calling out like upgrade your insulation and boom. But as y'all saw at the beginning of the call, like almost everyone put no for like, do you need to upgrade your insulation? Right. Then when I asked the question about, oh, what about your power bill? Then like a lot more people were like, oh shit. So long story short, I went from a market where it was very, very few people to a very larger problem. And then I started to go ahead in the article itself, show people like, hey, here's the different ways to navigate that. And here's how to actually really do it for the best, best option, basically.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Nick, if advertorials are working, would you just put them in a separate campaign?
I have no reason to.
Okay.
I can just toss them in the same campaign, let it roll. Something else I've noticed too as well, for a few accounts that like we've ran like advertorials on, was that because it's opening up more of that unaware market, and they're quickly getting all the spin as well. By the way, I'm just gonna let y'all know we're getting, because these ads are very short, they're very clickbaity. That's what like winning ads, like Facebook loves for winning ads. And we're seeing them quickly get spin, and because they're getting such cheap clicks, it's getting more people into your funnel that other ads that are in your ad account are starting to hit on, and then we actually started seeing like an overall improvement on performance.
Yeah, so the other ads are acting like a retargeting ad, basically.
Yeah. It's filling
Okay.
more people in your bucket because now you're making people if you're going off an unaware market.
Got it.
Cool. Anyone have any other questions or how to apply it to your business?
Yeah, just wondering. Just thought about it. The purchase tracking, is that much less accurate on Facebook when you're running it through ClickFunnels and to the product page?
It's the same. Nothing changes.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Nothing
Yeah,
changes.
cool.
I got an unrelated question. Maybe I could wait for after.
Yeah, you can ask it. I don't think there's anyone else that have questions around Avatar.
Okay, so all right, let me think. So what do you do if let's say you have a winner and then it performs for like a month and then it goes out of your KPI goal, so you kill it, and then 3 weeks later you check back like the old data and you see that the CPA was actually like good. Do you turn it back on to test it again, or you just like move on?
Why did CPA get better? And that's because of delayed.
I guess like delayed attribution. Yeah.
So that's what we have to look at. It's like if we have a winning ad and it's doing well for us, and then all of a sudden maybe performance starts to dip. Well, obviously we're always going to be inclined to turn off the ad that's getting all the spin.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. Just make sure you make a log of like, hey, we turned off X ad. Now, what happens when you turn off that ad? Does performance increase or decrease? That's what you have to look at. And it might not be a 1 day thing. It might be like a 2 or 3 day thing. We have one account that we've been running ads for about a little over 2.5 years now. Been spending 10 to 15K every day for this account. And something that we struggled with in our first year was we kept turning ads off that were getting a lot of spin with a bad CPA. And we just kept doing this all year long. So last year and a half, we just been leaving all the top winning ads on and only turning them off basically when they get all the way down, because we found new winning ads and now they're like pushed back down. So we found that it's just smoother just to leave the ad running That's why we rarely ever even turn off winning ads that, technically make performance worse, because we find it's just smooth. They're leaving them on and just try to beat them, and that's it.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Cool. Any other questions, guys, before we hop out? Levi, I see you asked a question. Would you run this to a fishing lure? Yeah. That could be good right there. You could do like top 5 fishing lures of 2024 for the summer. To be fair, that's like a very solution aware market. So like I personally wouldn't go through the route of doing an advertorial around it. I would just showcase how, I would be showcasing the product immediately and showcasing how it's different than other lures, or what it does better than other lures. Because people who fish, like they've already tried dozens of lures, maybe even hundreds of lures, depending on how long they've been doing it. So you just need to showcase the lure and what it does differently. Once you get that route and you want to try to start going after like that unaware market, you can start doing like 5 like fishing must-haves for 2024. I know we're going to the summer right now, which is like better fishing in the USA. So you can do like top 5 summer fishing items or things like that. So that's kind of like what I would do. Yeah, Aaron, I feel you. That's how I was as well. That was like a big thing for me. It's like I knew about advertorials all of 2000, like all the last couple of years. I knew about advertorials, but I just kept pushing it off. I made it sound so like overly complex and very difficult to set up. And then after that one client came to us and saw how quickly they scaled their business with it, I was like, all right, fuck that. We need to start applying this for our clients. So that's why we've been working on them since January and like building the systems out and stuff like that for our team. So yeah, stop making the excuses. The big one for us too. Cool. Well, last call. Any last questions before we hop out?
What are your results? Like, are you seeing good results doing this, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, seeing very good results with it. Rather.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I've just got a quick question. So I've got a product that's been running for like a week and a half, right? And it's still at 100 a day, which is what I started at.
Mhm.
And at the start, it was averaging like a 3.5 ROAS. So then I increased the budget 20%, and I got no sales for 2 days in a row, right? So I brought it back down to 100, and then I've got a 4 ROAS, a 6 ROAS, and it's 4.5 today. So I'm just confused as to why that 20% increase just like crushed performance.
What was your? I would look at your frequency over the last 7 days.
Yeah, it was
I
around 1.0.
also don't see a 20% increase taking you from like a 3 to 4x ROAS down to 0. I don't see that. The only thing I can say too is like you didn't give it in a long enough period of time, and then the sales just came in and you're tying the two together. But the only thing I would be looking at is the last 7-day frequency. And then the last 7-day frequency and just seeing where that is on your highest spending ad. That's the only thing.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah. Long story short, though, for you're still at $100 a day. You just need better creatives to scale.
Yeah. Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Cool.
Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day. I'll drop the link for this document in the chat and the call about an hour or two. I'll drop the link to this SOP now, but I'll drop the call in about a couple hours for you guys. So y'all have a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves, and I'll talk to y'all on Telegram. Take care.
Thanks, Nick. Have a good one.
Bye. Goodbye.